Okay, day 117, this is part 8, and this is going to be a little bit of more card flipping. I spent a little bit of time in Princeton, about a year, and one of the things I was researching was this Haas school, Haas, and David Petraeus was a part of that, and it was kind of a little princeling school just outside of Princeton, and really weird stuff at the Haas school, and I won't go into all the details, but having a foreign power that you have to kowtow to and impress and make allowances for, whether it's Saudi Arabia or wherever, UAE, is a condemnation of the basic human. Hey, how's it going? It's a rejection of your basic human sensibilities as an American, that we would have some kind of, first of all, we have a constitution. Why would we be fawning and trying to bring kids in and bring girls in and create parties and have this little kind of fraternity experience for people that aren't Americans? But that is actually what happened in Princeton. I won't go into any more details, but that kind of thinking, if you don't check it, and it keeps going, and Petraeus kept going through the military and kept getting promoted and kept carrying bags and valises for different generals until he got into positions of power, and he kept using guys like Andy McCabe to take out Stanley McChrystal and then become the guy who's running Afghanistan, or the guy who was running Iraq later on or before. This, through guys like Philippe Reines, this is the contorted thinking that ends up with the tragedies of DynCorp, where you have 8-year-olds, and I know this, I don't like talking about this, but 8-year-olds chained to beds getting raped by Afghan police, and these special forces guys, you know, that are the creme de la creme, who are working for McChrystal and thinking, hey, I'm doing the right thing, I'm fighting terrorism, I'm putting my life on the line. All of a sudden they're listening at night and trying to go to bed while an 8-year-old is screaming that they're getting raped by an Afghani police officer. Now, I know America doesn't want the reality of this, but I mean, Task Force was in these PTSD programs as a counselor and you know, for these guys, and it took tremendous courage for them to come forward and just kind of like say, God, this really sucked. It wasn't the battlefield situations. That's the part that I'm trying to get, the point I'm trying to make. It wasn't getting shot at. It wasn't getting wounded. It wasn't even being tortured. The thing that weighs on their mind, and this is the thing that causes the suicides, and this is coming from Task Force. Just talked to her just to confirm all this. It's the having to sublimate their internal sense of right and wrong, having to sublimate their sensibilities of being a human being, and being told, no, you're weak because you're making moral choices. You're weak and somehow less than deserving of the role of a Navy SEAL or whatever, because you're saying an 8-year-old shouldn't be raped and screaming into the night, and you doing nothing. Because these SEALs wanted to go put a bullet in the head of these guys that were raping them. But you had another officer, a CIA information officer, saying, you know, those are bad guys, and oh, by the way, we hate the father, we're going to kill the father, we're going to rape the wife in front of the father before we kill him, and then we're going to have the kids and rape them continually. If you don't think this happened, then there's CNN, you can turn on CNN. But these incredible cruelties did occur, and this was created not by a whole group of people, not by this big deep state, not by this big system, but by a very few sick individuals. A very few sick individuals that were allowed to rise to power. If I got that 333 on that inner forearm, and I let that go, and I let that little secret society go, it'll be just like the slaveholders of the South with that same, you know, KKK. 333, I think, is just a substitute for KKK sometimes. But the key here is, we know if we identify it and say this is the modus operandi, and these are the things that Jefferson said why we need 3 branches of government, so no one branch will have a 50%. Divide it up. You got to go back to that. Once you go back to the Jeffersonian principles, they'll always come back to you. They'll always come back to you. They'll always pay off. And when we go to thinking, a guy like David Petraeus is the answer. You have these incredible stories of these incredible warriors who are struggling to go to sleep at night because they listened to 8-year-olds getting raped deep into the night in Afghanistan.